On December 26, 1973, the world was introduced to what many still consider to be the scariest film ever made. Directed by William Friedman and based on the novel by William Peter Blatty, who also wrote the film's screenplay, The Exorcist, A Day After Christmas, would not only terrify, but test and force many to reevaluate their faith. Nominated for 10 Academy Awards and winning 2, The Exorcist examined the nature of true good versus evil through the ultimate sources of both, God and Satan, and the power of faith. Horrifying in every way, the film was more than gore and shock factor. Now, 50 years later, director David Gordon Green, alongside Danny McBride, the duo responsible for the latest Halloween requel trilogy, brings us another requel to one of the greatest horror films ever made, The Exorcist Believer. For those uninitiated, a requel is a reboot sequel, a film that acts as a direct sequel to a classic franchise that also hopes to reboot said franchise and take it in a new direction. Green and McBride attempted this with the Halloween franchise, offering a promising first film in 2018, only to falter with the subsequent sequels. The pair didn't even make it past the first movie in their planned Exorcist trilogy, however, as The Exorcist Believer may be the worst film in a franchise that never needed any sequels to begin with. Gone is any intellectual thought on faith, religion, Christianity, God, or the devil, and what we are left with is a film that is not only not scary in any way, but one that's story and characters are dull and lackluster, with themes explored in the blandest, most generic way possible. With no actual insight into faith, Green and McBride have crafted a film with a feel-good ending that offers moral platitudes about humanity coming together over our unique ability to hold hope. It destroys any idea of the power of faith by implying faith in anything is really all that matters. The film refuses to acknowledge any one religion or idea as true, while expecting its audience to still believe 2 girls traveled to hell and came back possessed. Hell can be real after all, but God can only be described as, quote-unquote, any holy beings. This destroys any credibility the film has as both a follow-up to the original and a film about exorcism, a deeply Catholic and Christian practice. The movie goes one step further by uniting a coalition of religious Avengers to come together. A voodoo priestess, a Protestant Christian leader, a failed nun who received an abortion, and a Catholic priest to exorcise the demons from 2 possessed girls. All to make a point that every theme in the original is wrong, apparently, because all humanity needs to conquer evil is each other. The Exorcist Believer just comes across as silly and poorly thought out from people who not only don't understand faith, but have none of their own. While it's obvious Green and McBride thought their ideas on faith were a modern springboard off the original movie, the modern aspect is the only thing they sadly got right, in so much as this is exactly what I'd expect modern Hollywood to think faith is. The themes in Believer in no way compare to the original, and the movie overall fails at horror, with the possessed girls being more of an afterthought to the story's need to justify how all forms of faith are valid. Believer has no real belief anywhere within its story. Just poorly thought out nonsense that undercuts the primal fear produced by the original. I give The Exorcist Believer 1 out of 4 stars.